Good evening. I welcome you to Strange Nexus, your portal to the realms of the strange, spooky, and unexplained. On tonight's episode, join us on a harrowing journey into the heart of the Pacific Northwest. In this chilling tale, a seasoned fisherman recounts his spine-tingling encounter with a massive Bigfoot.
I rowed out into the inky darkness of the Pacific Northwest waters, my small boat bobbing in the gentle waves. The air was thick with the scent of salt and seaweed, and the only sounds were the creaking of my boat and the distant calls of night birds. I had been a fisherman in these waters for years, but nothing could have prepared me for what I was about to encounter. It was a night like any other, or so I thought. The moon hung low in the sky, casting a pale glow over the water. I was about to call it a night when I heard a strange noise echoing through the trees that lined the shore. At first I dismissed it as the wind playing tricks on my ears, but as I strained to listen, the noise became unmistakable, a low guttural growl that seemed to vibrate through the very core of my being. Curiosity got the better of me, and I rowed toward the source of the sound, the hairs on the back of my neck standing on end. The growl grew louder and more menacing with each stroke of my oars, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. The moon disappeared behind a thick blanket of clouds, plunging the world into darkness. I finally reached the shore, tying my boat to a moss-covered rock. The growls were now interspersed with heavy, rhythmic footsteps. I fumbled for my flashlight, the beam cutting through the darkness like a knife. That's when I saw it. Standing at the edge of the tree line was a massive figure towering over the trees. Its fur was long and matted, a dark brown that seemed to absorb what little light remained. Its eyes glowed a sinister red in the beam of my flashlight, and for a moment, time seemed to stand still. I couldn't move. I was paralyzed by fear, my mind struggling to comprehend the sight before me. The creature's shoulders were broad, its arms hanging low as if it could touch the ground without bending. Its face was obscured by the shadows, but I could make out the outline of a massive head with a large human-like ears. The growls continued, now accompanied by a strange clicking noise that sent shivers down my spine. I was torn between the instinct to flee and the desire to understand what I was witnessing. As if sensing my internal struggle, the creature took a step forward, its eyes never leaving mine. I stumbled backward, my feet tripping over the uneven ground. The creature matched my movements, always staying just at the edge of the darkness. I could feel its gaze on me, a predatory intensity that made my skin crawl. Desperation overcame me, and I turned to run. But as I sprinted back towards my boat, the growls turned into a deafening roar that seemed to shake the very ground beneath me. It was a sound that reverberated through my bones, sending shockwaves of terror through my entire being. I reached my boat and rowed away as fast as my trembling hands would allow. The creature remained at the water's edge, its eyes still fixed on me as I disappeared into the night. The growls faded into the distance, but the memory of that encounter haunted my dreams for weeks. I returned to the fishing grounds, but the once familiar waters now held a new and terrifying secret. I couldn't shake the feeling that the creature was still out there, lurking in the shadows, waiting for its next encounter. I tried to tell others about what I had seen, but most dismissed it as the ramblings of a tired and frightened old man. The ones who did listen only exchanged nervous glances, unwilling to acknowledge the existence of something so otherworldly. As the weeks turned into months, I became obsessed with the creature. I scoured books and articles, searching for any mention of a similar encounter in the dense forests of the Pacific Northwest. It was then that I stumbled upon the stories of Bigfoot, the elusive creature that had become a legend in these parts. The descriptions matched what I had seen that fateful night. The towering figure, the glowing eyes, the bone-chilling growls. But what puzzled me was the feeling of malevolence that emanated from the creature. The stories I read spoke of a shy and elusive being, not the predatory force that I had encountered. I couldn't shake the fear that the creature I had seen was something different, something darker. It haunted my every waking moment, a shadow that loomed over me even in the light of day. I became a prisoner to the memory of that night, unable to escape the grip of the unknown. I returned to the waters, but the once familiar comfort of the sea had been replaced by a constant sense of unease. Every rustle in the bushes, every snapping twig sent my heart racing. I felt the creature's presence everywhere, lurking just beyond the reach of my senses. One night, as I lay in my boat staring up at the star-filled sky, I heard it again, the low growl that had become etched into my nightmares. This time, it was closer, the sound echoing through the stillness of the night. I clutched my flashlight, scanning the darkness for any sign of movement. And then I saw it. The creature emerged from the shadows, its eyes locking onto mine with a predatory intensity that made my blood run cold. It stepped forward, revealing its massive form in the pale moonlight. I could see the matted fur, the human ears, and the twisted, gnarled features of its face. This time, I did not run. I faced the creature head-on, the beam of my flashlight illuminating its monstrous form. The growls reverberated through the air, and I could feel the vibrations in my chest. But this time, there was something else. A hint of sadness in those glowing eyes, a glimpse of a tortured soul trapped in a world it could never fully belong to. I stood there, a mere mortal facing a creature that defied all explanation. The encounter stretched into eternity. The creature and I locked in a silent exchange of understanding. And then, with a final growl that seemed to echo through the ages, it retreated into the darkness, disappearing into the depths of the forest. I was left standing alone, my heart still pounding, my mind grappling with the impossibility of what I had just witnessed. The legend of Bigfoot had taken on a new meaning for me, a creature that existed on the fringes of our understanding, a being that straddled the line between myth and reality. I rowed back to shore, the weight of the encounter settling on my shoulders like an anchor. I knew that I could never fully convey the terror and awe that the creature inspired. It was a story that belonged to the shadows, a tale of a fisherman who had glimpsed the unknown and lived to tell the tale. As I walked away from the shore, the echoes of the growls still lingering in my ears, I couldn't shake the feeling that the creature had left a mark on me, an indelible imprint that would stay with me until the end of my days. The Pacific Northwest, once a place of solace and familiarity, had become a realm of mystery and shadows, a land where the line between reality and the supernatural blurred into one.
This reality never ceases to amaze me. What a tale. Now click subscribe and like this video for more Strange Nexus.